called apathetic.
We're off then. All right, guys. Well, we've already talked about a lot of things, but we've already also established that you are our guinea pigs now.
Yes.
So the second time around, we finally fucking got it. We should have filmed the whole thing.
Honestly, we should have put it the whole thing top to bottom, so people know the real and what goes into doing these things sometimes.
I also think that we should have just put a camera on your pedal for line 6.
I would have loved to put that out as a video by itself of just me being like, just hands, just like, I don't, and just buttons.
We already talked about that being a music video.
Like,
him just messing with his pedal, and then when the song's done, he'll be like, oh. We started?
Yeah.
Like, my guitar is just strumming by itself. Yeah. And by the time the song's done, I'm just
playing by itself, man.
Yeah. Dumb.
So, yeah, through all the trials and tribulations, we finally fucking got it. Even though, like, you know, with the mix, I think the mix already sounds good just as recorded. Yeah. Like, we kind of figured it out. And I'm, like, super thankful and glad that, like, we ended up doing it over and getting it right this time.
Us too. Much appreciated. Yes, huge shout out to Marcinellis. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys being patient with us and the pedal.
Yeah.
Especially the pedal.
Especially
the fifth member.
Putting a parental lock on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. I do want to sit down and, like, fuck with it more and, like, get it right, but...
No, yeah. I think next time it will just be me and you. Yeah. And we
will
all day, and we will just tweak.
Hopefully, the next few bands that come in don't have the same exact pedal.
No, they will, and it'll work perfect.
Exactly.
And it'll just be flawless, like literally no problem.
Well, so far we hadn't had another pedal issue.
Okay.
But we did have a pedal board, but it was like definitely more standard pedal board.
More analog stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's the digital. You got to realize it talks to things different. It's just weird. I love it.
Bring back the spiders because they sound like shit. But
Line 6 really hit it on the head with that. That's probably my favorite thing that I've seen at a show. I literally saw like a Line 6 spider mic'd up, but it was behind like a double stacked Marshall. It was the funniest thing. I know there's a meme behind it, but I genuinely saw that before, and I was just like, you know what? It's a great amp. It's a great amp.
I like we won't harp on Line 6 too much more, but I do like the Bogner Line 6 head.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you ever used that one.
I've never used it, but I do know what's up with
it's
that.
Nice.
It's a sweet amp. They got some good stuff. I like
So you guys are fucking like super tight as a band.
Thank you.
Overall.
Thanks, man. For sure.
Like blown away tight, like I just think it's crazy. I'm sitting in there just like cracking up like, dude, I can't believe that they're like this fucking tight. Like,
we practiced once last night since the last time we've been here.
Yeah. So we wanted to make sure we brought it best that we possibly can. And before that, like, I'll give it to him. Like, every good tight band needs a good tight drummer. Chris is
seriously
crushing it. And, you know, it's easy to follow when you got somebody holding it down. So, kudos, my man. I'll always give that dude a shot.
But I don't do that much. So.
For sure, yeah. Vince, he just pulls up.
You're just like the sprinkles on top. The
I'm
jimmies.
Cool being that. The jimmies,
Sprinkles.
Sorry. We'll edit that for... our audience of like local and non-local.
What did he say? Can we get the Jimmy's take?
Yeah, right.
We'll give you guys the Jimmy take.
Jimmy's.
Yeah, dude, Chris, you're super tight on the drums.
Thank you.
Like, I don't even know if I needed mics on them, but it definitely helped.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Plays through them.
So, like, you guys have been a band for how long?
Bro, realistic. I don't know.
And you've been multiple bands too, right?
We've been multiple bands. We all have been playing music together in and out for like years, 15 years, something like that.
Easily,
Like the three of us were in a band, and you know, it's kind of on hiatus, the Last Minute Hero, or it's definitely a little more like.
Is it official hiatus or?
It's just we just kind of come and go. We won't even announce it because we might just put out like songs. You say put it down a little bit. You want me to do one of these? You know what I mean? Is it in my face too much? There you go.
All right.
Yeah, we got to make adjustments. Last Minute Hero. Stuff's still out streaming, so you can go check it out. Like, it's super fun music. It's cool. Yeah. So we might get together and just start playing more stuff together. But right now, I know I was in the mood to just write stuff, some like really heavy stuff, and it started like during COVID.
Yeah.
Because we were just all in the house.
Right.
And so that's it. I had a 7-string, like an LTD at the point. I really wanted a 7 just to write heavier stuff.
Yeah.
And I started just like chipping away at demos. And even at that time, none of these guys were involved. It was just like me and my computer in my room. So like, of course, I had to reach out to the homies. Like, hey, I know we're all playing in different projects. Like me and Chris play in a cover band as well. So like, we're all making music together. Like Vince drums too. So like we've played music together in different aspects. But with this project, I was like, keep it tight, just the 4 of us. I have a bunch of ideas. And from where they started to this point, it wouldn't have gotten to this point without everybody's input and this whole band, just us being in the basement. Right. And I think when we finally started getting a couple songs down, like they were tight within like a day.
Right.
And when you get that feeling when you're in the group and everybody just like stops and hits that note and hits that one cymbal choke and hits, you know what I mean? We're all like, oh, that was awesome. That feels good.
One of like the untalked about things with being in a band and with people that like you've known for so long is like you pick up on things like how like Ray plays versus like how you play. It's different to like play with a certain guitarist, the way that they strum. Like, you can't anticipate things that they're gonna do, and I think that adds to the element of like being that tight of just like
sure.
I mean, you can hit the right notes, but being on the same like strum pattern is like, even tighter. Like the way that
like that totally matters. It comes up on how we all like learned how to play just off of each other growing up. So it's like I know I don't even need to look at these guys,
right? And
I know where everybody's listening in. So like
I started playing guitar by just watching Ray and then going upstairs and playing on my middle school acoustic guitar. Literally just playing the same things that he played. So like it makes sense that we have like the same kind of, feel in our playing. We've been playing together so long, and Ray's definitely a big influence on me on just the guitar part of it. Yeah. So to pick up the bass is a lot of fun, especially with Chris, just so tight. Yeah. It's like I'm trying to like fit in there, and find out how to be a bass player. So
there's like no idea off the table, and then it's just fun to be able to put these songs together. So.
It's fun because it's like really simple, but it's also like really fun. High energy.
And like super groovy, like that's
super groovy.
Like, it's just like. I know when people get to know the songs more, you'll know the cues and where like the mosh parts are. But at the end of the day, if you don't know, you're just at the show. Like, I just want everybody's head bobbing the whole time. You might not know what to do, but your body does. And you're just like, all right, dude, like I'm here. Like,
so your guys' like pre-production process is like, is it done like with you doing all like the demo work on guitar and then like sending it out, or? Have you guys changed
up to this point? It's been that, like just kind of me messing around with some MIDI drums, which obviously can be ridiculous. Luckily, I am a drummer as well, so I don't throw too much crazy stuff at Chris. Like he's do way more than I can throw at him, 100%. So like,
he gets your files and he's like, nice try.
Yeah, basically, and I'm just like,
it is one of those things like somebody else writes the drum parts. Like, dude, I don't have 8 fucking arms.
Yeah. Like,
at the same time, he writes these parts. It's like I can't change that. I'll embellish on it, but I'm not going to change that.
And that's it. And there's so many fills and little things you can't, you don't really anticipate when you're doing, you're just messing around with your own head and doing the MIDI drum. So bringing it to the table, I'm like, here's like the canvas, basically. And by the end of what we come up with isn't what is on paper and what I recorded, which is great. Like, that's exactly what I wanted, I'll just
so do you guys also have like engineering experience, like, or is it just kind of like listening and playing?
Very basic.
Listening and playing.
That's me. A lot of listening and playing. Like I just have basic stuff. We all have like especially us at least, we have like DAWs and interfaces, and we're just go.
Yeah, we'll throw down like reference tracks, shoot them around. Exactly. It's like okay, and then it's really like when we all meet up is really where we solidify ideas and things like that. Like, hey, I came up with this, and kind of just shoot it back.
It's a modern postal service.
Yeah.
The band, the postal service, like that's how they record it in all like different places too.
Yeah.
Well, I actually found an app where you can like live play with other people, and there's like 0 latency.
What app is that?
I forget what it is. I'm gonna have to look it up later.
We'll plug it right here.
We did try to do it,
and there's literally 0 latency, and you can just jam with people around the world. And like I've encountered like rooms where like people have like an entire like drum set up, and then like they'll be like, hold on, I'm gonna switch to my keyboard, and they just like pop the channel, and like it's all built in. I'll have to figure out what the name is.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Be able to utilize that when we can, but nothing like being in the room. Being able to
are there dicks in it too?
Feed off
like Omegle? Is it like an Omegle?
That would be so funny if you just go in. It's just like a red like chat roulette.
You hear someone
dude.
like jerking off.
a nasty
Bro,
musician.
wait, like, that's so
Ass
good.
naked.
It's like the counting, and then it's like, oh, there's my dick.
Right.
I don't think there's any moderators.
It's called the skin flute.
Yeah, right.
It's got one note.
What key are you in?
Yeah, right. Like that. I'm hitting that so fast. Like, oh god, just filtering through this.
So I know we've talked about like kind of like recording like Party Animal and possibly a couple other songs, but do you guys have like all those songs already written, or are you like still in pre-production for those?
It's a little bit of like Party Animal is pretty solidified. Like we have that.
I
one
hope so.
down.
We just recorded it.
Yeah. So that's what you hear is what you're gonna get. Like that's 100% it. We have a handful of other songs that also like are in that pre-pro phase where there's just like tweaks for some of them, so it shouldn't take too much longer to kind of finish those out. Other ones, and then we just have like the drawing board of just like riffs that never went anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Which is great because now you have stuff to pull from, and I think we just talked about like okay, we're sitting down with our Google Drive, going through everything, seeing what sounds cool, and then just picking and choosing from it. So it's always good to have that library, that center port to go to.
So as a groovy, what do you guys? What genre do you guys?
I know, right? I don't ever know what to tell
You're like
somebody.
a groovy metalcore.
It's kind of like a groovy metalcore, gent bop. I'm not sure how to.
I've heard knockoff Meshuggah and Periphery.
All right, bet. I'll take that. I mean, I won't take knockoff. I don't. Those guys are doing something way different. Like I don't even know.
Yeah,
like,
you guys aren't like in different time signatures, right?
Yeah, it's not that
yet.
crazy. It's all pretty standardized, but it's
Yeah.
we try to. It's just fun, and
Right.
and it's just driven the entire time.
Yeah.
Like our songs are pretty much like short and sweet. Like they're not super long songs at all.
I
Is
tried
grooviness?
one different time signature, but it wouldn't work itself out. So we
Yeah,
tried,
right.
We tried for like a half an hour to get it to work. It just like didn't work.
It'll be on the next
we'll
demo.
move on.
You know what I mean? We got extra. We got stuff.
I
coming.
did. Was it like a weird one, or was it just like a 3/4?
No, it was a weird one.
Like
I
7/6.
think it was
weird.
between 4/4. I think it switched over to 7/4, and then like 3/4, 4, like just that same pattern.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
7/4 is
weird.
weird.
Yeah, it was interesting. We're gonna nail it though. That's the thing. We're gonna work in progress for sure.
It definitely helps with pre-pro to be like, okay, like I'm just gonna listen to like playing the notes on a beat instead of like actually trying to count.
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
exactly like you will be able to catch it, and again your body will just bop to it. So whatever genre you guys want to.
Because I think Pink
Dub
Floyd's
us.
Money is in 7/4.
Yeah.
So like that groove, that drum groove is in 4/4,
Right.
and then it just like catches itself.
This is why I hate Dream Theater.
Oh yeah, right.
I like them. I'm just kidding.
Sweet.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah. So I definitely want to get you guys back in here for like a studio recording. I'm like super pumped on like working more with you guys.
Same.
But as far as like your guys' writing style, is grooviness like the main drive of writing, or is it heaviness? Like, where do we rate like writing styles?
I guess it just comes from all of our different influences and what we're trying to bring to the table. It's like be heavy for heavy's sake is cool, but like there's just so much fun you can have with music. So it's just it's a lot more than just panic chords and just heavier stuff, for us.
Yeah.
And it's like I always like I don't know what's a big groovy like I'm trying to think of a good influence like.
Dude, Jesus Piece is like super groovy for how
Jesus
heavy
Piece
they are,
yeah.
but they also are like
They're
very
intense,
panicky.
dude. They are. They have those super big moments when it's like that, and yeah, they're awesome live for sure.
Yeah.
Like I have like so many like I have like old.
I think more of like the softer like I don't know like early 2000s like Census Fail.
Like
Finch,
100
like
like
those kind of influences.
we grew up with those type
But
of
then like
that
blending
thing.
it into like the heavier kind of feel. I feel like that's where like kind of the groove comes from me at least. Like just early.
And with
2000s
this project,
stuff.
I wanted to like For Today has like some of the dopest breakdowns of like
Yeah.
groovy, riffy parts, and I was like, I love that. So I pull like you know what I mean, like that feel, and then like Kubla Khan and Body Snatcher, we're like huge fans of those guys. So like
Johnny Booth,
like, and and they do such a great job with like blending that melody into all that chaos that's happening, and like that's all I really wanted with this project is to keep that door open for all of those different influences to fuse. And as long as like we're bopping to the music and we can bring that to the table, we're sure it's gonna come across well, and then it winds up just being god awful, whatever that sound is, whatever our genre is. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I mean, take Party Animal, right? I think me and you were writing that like at your house or something. And
Yeah.
It was just like we were like, what does like 1, 2, 3 sound like? And like literally, we just did that. Like,
and
what is
so
the simplest
simple.
song we can make? And it was
It's
just
so
like,
dumb
1,
simple.
2,
Like
3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
that's it.
It's just like making that groove within it, and then like breaking it down with like open 1, 2, like kind of taking it down a step. It's like allows it to be more heavy where it can be.
And that that was like such a fun song to write because it was just a fun song. Like, it's just a heavy forward riff where like 5 was it intrusive? Yeah. We number our songs, so we're still getting used to calling them the actual names. I think we're going to start putting out numbers on records, like whatever you'll just tell us what number you want to hear, we'll play it.
Yeah.
Intrusive, which is on the EP that we have out, that was like the first full like god awful song that I like put together. And again, like the demo phase from what it was to what it is now, it doesn't even sound close, which is awesome. But I think that song in particular really represents so much of what we want to do with this band and our music.
Yeah.
It just goes through all the phases. It's super heavy. It's fun. It has like light moments, and then it goes to this like really melodic, kind of darker groove that goes into it, which makes the next part even heavier. And it's just like, you know, it really keeps you engaged, but puts you through this like wave of everything that we're trying to bring to the table. I still think that one is like the full focus song. If you really want to get to the core of what we sound like, that's a great example of that for sure.
Do you guys demo your songs live?
Do we what?
Do you demo them live? So like, would you bring them to a show before you were like ready to record them?
Oh,
to,
yeah.
like, change
100%.
them again?
Yeah. Like we've like Party Animal, we've played out a couple times
Every
before
show,
we even like solidify the
Yeah.
ends of the songs. We'll just play them and throw them in there, and
Yeah.
just because, like,
Yeah.
let's see what the reaction is. Let's just like
right.
have fun with it out,
Yeah.
you know.
We also need to fill the time too. So.
That's
Yeah.
again, we have
2 minutes, so
short
it's
songs.
like, you know,
So we're
sometimes
like, all right, dude.
we go to a show and we're like, okay, we got 5 songs. Like, we
Yeah.
should probably add like 2 and maybe a third just in
Yeah, you're
case, you
like,
know, if we got.
All right, guys, sit
But,
tight.
like,
We're
we
gonna
had-
play the discography.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then 2 minutes later, that's it.
But you know we have it, and like I feel like that's like a really fun aspect to writing the music is like we don't have to have 3-4 minute songs. Like we can literally just make it whatever we want.
That's it.
Minute and a half. Jam
And live, like
breakdown, and
nobody knows your music live. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
To an extent,
So
it's
it's
just
like-
like, oh, they're playing something. Like they don't know what it's going to end up performing, but like it's
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
that at that time you may hear something that you might not hear again, which is always cool and exciting for a live performance.
Yeah.
But then you might hear a recording later and be like, oh, that's where that tune was. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. So yeah, I think it's important to kind of do that, just to get the reaction and kind of just have fun with the music, just being able to play it. Yeah.
So I met Ray first at Flip a Beat Club.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the homies. Is there any talks of like incorporating some of your like hip hop production into your songs?
Mentioned
Just gonna
Q.
say something to you about that yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He makes beats too, dude. We're all.
Might-
I'm trying to
that'd
drag
be
him to Flip a
fun.
Beat Club too, dude.
I've been there once.
Yeah. So,
Q came to some of our our practices and said he had like ideas and shit.
yeah. And he always has the 404 on him ready to go.
Yeah.
Shout out Flip a Beat Club.
Always.
Always smelling like donuts with the four.
Pulling up with the dotties heavy.
Love you, Q.
That would be fun. I don't think it's something that I've done just yet in
Yeah.
any of the writing phase of it.
It's
but
tough,
like,
dude.
you know what I mean? It's just an experiment. Like we'd have to
it's
sit
like a
down
totally
one day.
different mindset to like
Yeah.
flip over to like guitar from like.
Like
oh,
we
man,
have
this is
experimented
nasty,
with
yes.
like samples, and we'll have like koala up with just different things on their pads,
Yeah.
and just like filling in different parts, and like that's been a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
I think we can start doing stuff like that in or
Right.
out between songs.
Yeah.
And you might get a whole new EP of stuff from that idea. Like
Yeah.
everything's on the table for sure.
Right.
So like that'll be fun to do.
Cool. Well, again, I can't wait to have you guys back into the studio to do like an actual like in studio recording. I'm excited to do like more like production oriented, like
Yeah.
see your process and kind of like just fill in where
And
where
be a
I
part
can,
of the process.
if I
right?
can, yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you guys again for coming out doing this,
Dude,
being
thank
the
you.
other first time for this
That's what I'm
section. of
saying,
this.
man. Dude, we're super grateful. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Big shout out to
Seriously.
Marston House.
Yeah. Huge
Awesome.
shout out.
Awesome, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. We want to go around and get everyone's names and handles, especially for you guys who are doing like beats and other stuff too. So
Oh yeah, true.
let's get your social media and your names so we can edit later.
Yeah, well, I'm Ray Lewis. at Ray on the Low on Instagram. That's pretty much like my only tag that you'll see me on. And then I play guitar and God Awful.
Yeah, I'm Vince Beta, and I think it's Vinny_SP8UH for Spada. I'm never on it. I don't like social media.
He yells. He yells and yells.
I'm Chris. I'm the drummer. C_Shady10 on Instagram, and that's all I use, basically.
I'm also Chris, or known as Christian. I play bass, and instead of saying my socials, I'll say GodAwfulPA, at GodAwfulPA.
At GodAwfulPA.
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook,
Instagram,
Spotify, iTunes, everywhere streaming.
GodAwfulPA.
Also going to have some merch out as well, so keep a lookout for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we're planning weekenders, and we're open and available for shows now that we got everything kind of tight. We got the good set going, so
Yeah. And what's your next show coming up?
So we're in the process of booking a couple of different shows. We're trying to book a 420 weekender with our homies Survive the Sun up in Boston.
Sick.
So that'll be a really good time, and closer to the date, we'll be able to put stuff out, so you'll be able to come check us out. So hopefully sooner than later, we'll have another show coming up, maybe a little sooner. Just follow us on whatever social media, and you'll be informed for sure.
Word.
Yes, sir.
All right. Again, thanks, guys.
Dude.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
I'll do my best.
Cool.
Right on.
This next one's called Apathetic.